Chaveiroi Rabbonim, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very inspired tonight, and it paid for me to come here, for myself, especially when one rabbi took over my drosha, and Rabbi so beautifully. It's really a pleasure to see young people coming to elevate themselves. This is the purpose. Lachanecha Kodesh means you have to elevate yourself. You have to become, whatever you are, you have to become bigger, to become greater. And this is something, a task, especially women. They have to know that they have nice malachim. Nice malachim surely wants to be. They're princesses. A princess wants to be the way a prince is supposed to be. And it was said so boldly and asked that Noshim have to have the achayas of tznius. Tznius in the shul. It starts with the shul, that's a Makom Kodesh. But every Jewish home is a Makom Kodesh. It truly has to be in a home also. And today, it's a world of trendiness. We like to be trendy. It could be, it says Gehalten mit Hilchas Tznius, it's in order. But it's a little trendy. And trendy, I don't know what it means exactly, trendy. But women know what it means, trendy. It says in the Pasuk, Ma tova alecha Yaakov mishkanesecha Yisrael. My Tova Alecha Yaakov, say Chazal, it means Bekoimes Beis HaMedrash, when we learn. Mishkanesecha means Mishkan. Where's a Mishkan? It means the Bot HaMedrashim. This is Bot HaKnesiyos, and this is Bot HaMedrashim. I mean, this is Bot HaKnesiyos. Mishkanesecha means the Mokam HaShchina. But the Mishkan Hashem, this is the Mishkan Hashem. And it was said before that there's no Beis HaMikdash. This is the Beis HaMikdash of today. But we have to see that our homes also has to be a home of Beis HaMikdash. I was once in Australia, and I usually go into the rabbi to visit the rabbi. That's Machuyev. A Nerach comes. So I come to the rabbi and I wanted to tell him something. At that time there were a lot of mishaps in Eretz Yisrael. I told him, what can we do for Eretz Yisrael? So I said as follows. With the Gemara says, Omolei Rabbi Yochanan. They told Rabbi Yochanan, Ike Sabe beBavel. They're elders in Babel. Tama Rabbi Yochanan. He was wondering, Rabbi Yochanan was wondering, the man Yirba Yamechem al Adom Aksiv. It says longevity belongs to Eretz Yisrael. Then it says, since they told him that Mekadme Mechashke Beis HaMedrash, they come early and late at night to Beis HaMedrash, he didn't wonder. He knew already what that teretz is. So the Marsho is Masbir, Betzim is in Amiri also, that what was this Chadesh, the Bot HaKnesiyos, there's a chelek of Eretz Yisrael, as Chazal tell us, Asidim, Bot HaKnesiyos, Bot HaMedrashos, Sheikovu be'Eretz Yisrael, they will be in Nikon Yisrael. So this today, the Beis HaMedrash and Beis HaKnesses has a din be'Eretz Yisrael. And the Chazon Ish mentioned it many times in his letters. The place of learning and the place of davening, this is part of Eretz Yisrael. So I told him that if that's the case, what can we do? What we can do is bring Kedusha in our Bot HaMedrashim, Bot HaKnesiyos. But that's what we should do. Since it's part of Eretz Yisrael, this is our giving to Eretz Yisrael. We're doing something for Eretz Yisrael. We're elevating Eretz Yisrael. This is a piece of Eretz Yisrael. You do, if someone is born in an embassy, he's a citizen of that land. This belongs to Eretz Yisrael. So this is the Mokim. These are the embassies of Eretz Yisrael, Amekoimes HaKdoshim. So I told him, if that's the case, let us bring more Kedusha in our Beit Knesiyos, and this is doing for us, so that's what we can surely do. No more nor less. The rabbi told me that Rabbi Yisrael Baditcher says, he says, the homes will surely go to Israel. A home, it says a home where you do mitzvahs continuously. The Chidush Beit Knesiyos Beit Midrashos. That's what he told me. So I told him that it paid to come to Australia just for this Chidush. That a Jewish home is also, it will Mirza Hashem go to Israel. Why? Because a home, they're doing mitzvahs the whole day, they said. That's what he says. And he brought me the copy later to a chasana, by a chasana there. I don't know where it is now. I'm looking for it. I don't know where it is. I'm looking. But it's something that it was astonishing to me. That every Jewish home, we have to consider a Mokum Kodesh. Because why? And every home in Hashem, a Jewish home, that they do mitzvahs there, will the Hashem also go. That's why it's very pleasant to hear. But Hashem, we have Hashem beautiful homes. What will we be ready to do? Will we be ready to leave it behind? No, we have to take us with us. We have to take ourselves with it, but we have to see it should be a Mokum Kodesh. That we have to do see. Kimchis. The rabbi mentioned tonight that the Zechet, that all her children were Kohen Gadol. Kohen Gadol was Zechet being Kohenim Gdolim. So he said why? Because she was Noig B'tznius at home. Because nobody was there. She was Noig B'tznius. We see the might of Tznius. And the Goyen, as was mentioned before, the Goyen is unbelievable. The Goyen says that this is how you can overcome. This is the only antidote for the Yetzer Hara. Is Tznius, Noshem Tznius. It's remarkable. It says in Chazal. He said Medrash, and he's brought somewhere, and I don't know where the Mokar is itself. It says when there was a Radin, burned the Beis Hamikdash, so Nitzotzos, sparks fell throughout the world. Wherever a spark landed, that became a Mokum Kodesh. Either a Beis HaMedrash or a Beis HaKnesses. In other words, what we have today, the Beit Knesiyos, Beit Midrashos, is still part of the Beis Hamikdash. And this is a Hemshech of Beis Hamikdash. That's why we can understand our Kesher to Beis Hamikdash. When we come to a shul, we have to think, this is the remainder, what was left after the Churban. After the Churban Beis Hamikdash. So we live in such an environment, it's mind-boggling, that we have to think, this is remnants of the Beis Hamikdash. This is how we have to be done. That's why we can understand very well that the Rabbanim are speaking about this. It's news in a Beit Knesiyos about the Midrashos. Beit Knesiyos, how we come to a shul. We come to a shul. What do we come to a shul for? We want to misachad im HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's what we want to do. So this is the mokem that's left over, that we want to be together with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now we have to understand, we come into HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it's more than that wedding in downtown New York. It's more than this wedding. It's coming to the Rabbeinu Shalom. Ki b'yochel the Rabbeinu Shalom. We're coming to see the Rabbeinu Shalom. That's what we're coming for to a shul. Mesachad HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this is our tefillos. All tefillos are that. We coming to Mesachad HaKadosh Baruch Hu. At the same time, we're Mesachad in Kol Yisrael also. Because the tefillos, you do of Nariya Kodesh. Before he said tefillah, so he says Mesachad HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because a tefillah is not just for himself. A tefillah is from Klal Yisrael. You get a koyach tefillah the person has, and the same with Torah also. It's not just his. It belongs to Klal Yisrael. B'siba Torah says Amalamet Torah Lama Yisrael. The Rebbeinu Shem teaches Torah to Klal Yisrael. So it's not you. It's Klal Yisrael. It belongs to Klal Yisrael. As it says in Chazal, the Shalom Kodesh says, needed B'Shas, Matan Torah, we needed should be Shishim Riboy. If we're missing, and Kulam B'Leiv Echad Ki Yishechad, if we're missing one, says the Shalah, Torah would have not given. And it wasn't the Rabbeinu Shalom made him that way. It was the Yichud who called Israel themselves. It says in Chazal, the Rabbeinu Shalom says, this is the appropriate moment. This is the right moment. But Klal Yisrael, they are together. Now this is their koyach. The koyach with Klal Yisrael are together. When we come to a shul, we also try to unite. That's what we have to do. It's not only to unite ourselves, unite with Klal Yisrael. Because the whole koyach that we have is because we are part of Klal Yisrael. The Beis Halikim asked, what's going on? We want our tefillah should be niskabel. Tefillahs of Rishonim, all earlier ones, what happens with them? They were greater than we are. So what happened? Our tefillahs. So he says it's nana salgeba anok. He says it's something, anok is that big, and a nanas is a little bit further. So our tefillahs, he says. So he also unites Klal Yisrael. That it's not one. I'm mispalo. I'm mispalo together with Klal Yisrael, with all the tefillahs that were mispalo before. That Klal Yisrael said all the tefillahs, and I'm adding a drop, and this drop perhaps will help us. And this is the koyach of tefillah, because it belongs to Klal Yisrael. So therefore, when we come to a shul and we unite to Tam and tefillah, we have to know that we are adding to the tefillah sarabim, the tefillahs from ganzen Klal Yisrael. We are adding, and our little bit adds, so we have to be roi, thinking that we are bnei malachim, and Noshim have to think that bnei malachim. What else can they do? Become so close to the Rabbeinu Shalom. It says in Chazal, it says, Gemara says as follows: by the Sreifel Beis Hamikdash, the Zaradin, it says, "V'chol bayis godel sofa beish." Every big house they burnt in fire, and the Gemara says before they burned the Beis Hamikdash. So what does it mean bayis godel? And there's a machlekes in the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Shmuel ben Levi. Bayis godel means the great, and what is the greatest thing? So one mandoma says it means batik nesiyas. Rabbi Shmuel ben Levi. Rabbi Yochanan said it means batik medroshes. Machlekes. And the halacha would be that what is the greatest thing? If it means bayis godel, batik nesiyas, then you're allowed to sell a Beis HaMedrash for Beis HaKnesses. And if it's the opposite, you do the opposite. So the question is, and it's asked, the Ksav Sefer as the Shaila, what's happening? Chazal tell us that when you go to learn, you're older, middle learning, you go to be mispalel. So Chazal said, you're leaving over something that's nitzchias, Torah, and you go to daven. That's only chayesho. That's what the Gemara asks. So the question is, so how could it be that the bayis godol means botek nesiyos? What is botek nesiyos? So the Shaila is asked by the Ksav Sefer and the Chuvas, and he says as follows. He says that in order to be zeiche, what a person wants to be zeiche, he wants to be zeiche in Torah. Whatever he wants to be zeiche. The person does not get anything without tefillah. That's what he says. Therefore, he says, the greatness of the botek nesiyas are because in order to get anything you want, you have to be mispala. Without tefillah, you can't get anything. So therefore, he says it's even greater than the botek medroshos, because the zeicha to Torah you also have tefillah. Without tefillah, a person can't be zeicha anything. And it's very interesting. It's interesting. We find in Chumash something that's pile ploy. We don't understand. It's mind-boggling. The Rabbeinu Shalom tells Moshe Rabbeinu that you are the Goy Yisrael. Imena Togoylam and Achagoylam. The Rebbeinu Shalom tells Moshe Rabbeinu. It took a week time, 1 week, till Moshe Rabbeinu consented. True, he didn't want to go because he didn't want to hurt Aaron. His brother he was the greatest in Mitzrayim then. True, that's why he didn't want to go. But here the Rebbeinu Shalom tells him, says the Ramban as follows. Paroi was the greatest king in the world at that time. And he has to become a shaliach to go to Paroi. Is that fitting? Someone that stutters will come to Paroi? A stutterer will come to Paroi. That's not fitting for the king. So therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu thought that if the Rebbeinu Shalom really wants him to be the Goy Yisrael, he should be the Shaliach Hashem. He has to cure him, and he wasn't cured. That's what Ramban says. And since he wasn't cured, he felt it's only a suggestion. It wasn't a demand. That's what it says on. Says the Ramban. Why did Rebbeinu Shalom cure him? Rebbeinu Shalom knew that this was his machshava. He says, since he was not mispalel, the Rebbeinu Shalom can't cure him. So here we have a situation that Klal Yisrael is waiting to be redeemed from Mitzrayim. And the Redeemer is right here. Moshe Rabbeinu is supposed to go. And what's missing? The Rebbeinu Shalom has to cure him. But the Rebbeinu Shalom cannot cure him until he's mispalel. Without tefillah, a person doesn't get anything. It's remarkable. Without tefillah, we can't get anything. Whatever we have through the koyach of tefillah. It's very important before Rosh Hashanah Kippur, Yamei Tefillah. It seems that tefillahs themselves are the ones that gave us the koyach to be mispal also, to ask Rabbeinu Shalom. But we need tefillah. That's what we need. And it's another remarkable thing what Ramban says. Why wasn't Moshe Rabbeinu before that mispala? All his life he should be mispala. Rabbeinu Shalom, cure me, help me. So he says something that's to think about. He says, how did he become Echvat Peh? Because he was going for the crown of Paroi. So the Khartoum Mitzrayim said, he's not a simple lad. He's going for your crown. You have to test him. What's going on with him? So they tested him. A pot of gold and a pot of coal. And we'll see where he goes to. So he was going to the gold. And Malach Gabriel pushed his hand to the coal. So he grabbed a piece of coal, so he burned himself, so he put it to his mouth. That's the tendency of a child that puts everything to his mouth. And that's where he became a Echvat Peh. Says the Ramban that he wanted to remain his entire life, that he had a miracle that happened, and he wanted to live with that miracle, to remember the Rebbeinu Shalom Ratavatim. He was Nitzel from Israel, from Paroi, to that happiness. And that's what he wanted to remember. But we see that without tefillah, that we see for sure. Without tefillah, we cannot. So tefillah is something that we come to shul and mispal to the Rebbeinu Shalom. We have to ask the Rebbeinu Shalom whatever we need. And we see another very interesting, but we see what the koyach of tefillah is. Klal Yisrael will become redeemed in Yirtzeh Hashem. Says in the Medrash, not in schus from Avraham, not in schus from Yitzchak, not in schus from Yaakov, in schus from Rochel Imeinu. That's what it says in the Mazal. Rochel said she gave up of herself for somebody else. That's Rochel's Maila. It was hers, and she gave it in her whole heart. She gave over the simony. She gave it. I saw somebody said that later when Rochel won't take away my husband, Leah says to Rochel, she knew she gave her. She didn't even feel that. She didn't make her feel that she gave it to her. She felt like it's yours. Because later, by the Didoim, she says, it's not enough, kachtech. My money took away my husband from me. It's Pile Ploim. Because she gave with her whole heart. And this is the hardest thing. To give with your whole heart is the hardest. To give to somebody else. As we see in Chazal themselves, it says, when the Chayzrei HaMelchama were going back and they were told, being born a bayis, whatever happened. Be'agmas nefesh, Rashi says. The agmas nefesh. What's agmas nefesh? When a person gives up something of himself, that is painful. A person can do anything. And we see in Chazal, is remarkable what we see in Chazal, that when we were going to the Akedah, the Satan came to Avram Avinu, an old man, that's your only child, Alpha became. Yitzchak, ready to go, the only child of your father, what will be? Then he says, the Satan told him, what will be with your suits that your mother made for you? They'll go to Yishmael. So it says in Chazal, that's when Yitzchak said, Ovi, Ovi. That touched him. Isn't it remarkable? He's ready. This person ready to give up his life. He's a soldier in the army of Hashem. And that's the Messias of a soldier. The Rambam says what it means. And yet, that's Agmas Nefesh Shaloi. He has pain. Somebody else will have it. So this was the greatest of Rochel Imeinu. So Rochel Mont Yaakov Avinu. And what? My Mesa Anoichi. He doesn't know, can't live like that. He had no children. So Yaakov Avinu answered, Asachas al Kimoni. And Chazal of Tainus, he spoke too sharp to her. He says, am I in the place of Hashem? So what is the answer, Hashem? Go and spal to the Rabbeinu Shalom. And the next pasuk said, Vayizker. So he says, Vayizker, Rashi says, remember the Maisim that Rochel did. And Lord said, this will be the Maisim that will save Chol Yisrael. But the Targum, Apanoret, and Targum Unkeles, and Targum Yerushalmi, says, Betzali. Sich mispal given. Rochel is mispal given. So Rochel has the greatest chusim that will save Klal Yisrael. Yet, to be zeichet to what she wants something, she has to be mispal. And without tefillah you can't yet. We see the koyach of tefillah, what it means the koyach of tefillah. So therefore, the Rabbeinu Shalom gave us such a matana of koyach of tefillah that we come to shul and we're mispal. Isn't that a kiddush Hashem that we come, but like Nois Malachim, as was mentioned before, not to overdo it. And it's not so difficult. We can look Nois Malachim not being so trendy. Could be in Nois Malachim, the same Nois Malachim we could be the way we are. And this is really a mokim, and come to a mokim kodesh. And we are speaking of tznius, that this is a yesod in Klal Yisrael. And it's not, we're not asking to wear black socks. Maybe in certain schools they do. Maybe they do in certain schools, I don't know. Maybe in the neighborhood also, I don't know. But we ask just with halachas, we've always gehalten with halacha. This is something that we could expect. And this is something that Klal Yisrael deserves that. And being Bnei Malachim, being Bnei Malachim, you have to see, and the men have to see help with that. Because a woman doesn't want to do something if her husband is not happy. The women will be made on that. And therefore, the men have to help with that along too. And therefore, we gather together to be mechazek ourselves in the midas atznius. The Rabbeinu Shalom should help that this midas atznius should the Rabbeinu Shalom bring us out from this bitter golas. We live in such a horrible times. See what's going on in the world, throughout the world. When Klal Yisrael is surrounded with Sonim, Arum and Arum. Arum and Arum means Arum and Arum, the whole world. Not only around El Yisrael, there are 100 million that want the life of Klal Yisrael. Wherever we are, there's Seinei Yisrael, we know that. We know that and we hear it and we live it and we know it. So this is something. We mechazek ourselves in Amideh. We got closer to the Rabbeinu Shalom. That is the greatest chus we can have. We should be zeicher to gula shleima b'korov amen.